Guys, it is cold as hell, and my eye has been twitching literally all day, which I think is a weird sign. Essentially, okay, I've got my kombucha jar here that I'm gonna finish like this, just straight from the jar while I'm chatting with you guys, because it feels like it goes with my aesthetic right now. But essentially, I'm going to be talking in this video about something called human design. Now, I'm new to this. I just figured this out 2 days ago. So if you are already interested in human design and you you're here because you want someone to explain it to you, I might not be the best person because I'm new to this. If you are only interested in my Myers-Briggs videos, this might not be the video for you. But if you are interested in Myers-Briggs and astrology, you will probably be interested in this as well. And I also just want to say shout out to Hannah's Elsewhere on YouTube, who showed me this. I know she's new to it as well, but she makes excellent astrology videos if you want to check that out. I know some of you have been asking for me to talk about astrology more on this channel. Well, go to her channel and see some astrology videos. But essentially, I'm freaking out right now because I just did my human design chart, which I will show you looks like that, is what it looks like. It's this weird thing where you go online and you put your date of birth and your birth time and all that in, almost as if it is your astrology chart. But I don't really know what it is, but the reason why I'm freaking out right now is that I am a manifestor. And learning about what a manifestor is like, honestly, I've been like crying all day. And you guys should go to humandesignamerica.com and look up what you are. Essentially, there's a type, there's a profile, there's a strategy, there's an inner authority, there's an incarnation cross, there's all these different aspects of like your energy. But the thing that I'm going to talk about the most in this video, because it's what I have looked up more, is your profile and your type. My profile is 5-1 and my type is manifestor. And also, okay, my inner authority is ego manifested authority. But okay, let's just talk about your type for a sec. Manifestor is, I guess, one of the most rare types. And just learning about what it is like to be this. Oh, I need to look something up really quick. Essentially, you're either a manifestor, a generator, a manifestor generator, a projector, or a reflector. And let me just read for you what this says about me right now. For manifestor, it says, your role is to impact others. Your actions and expression bring about transformation. You have a powerful social presence and have a strong effect on people's lives. Sometimes people could be overwhelmed and confused by your actions. When you're not centered within yourself, your actions can be confusing and disruptive for others. Within your chart, there are areas that represent obstacles that can pull you off center, disrupting your ability to have a positive effect on people in your life. And so, essentially, whenever I figured this out, I went on Facebook and I just joined every single human design thing that I could find. And this manifestor manifesto that I read was just mind-blowing to me, because essentially manifestors just make people uncomfortable just by being them. And I was sort of reading this and I was just like, I don't know how this is a good thing. Like, apparently manifesting, like, they're the change makers, they're leaders, whatever. And like, yeah, I am that. But like, I also want to be loved and I want to be seen for who I am. And if you look at what my profile is, 5-1, I'm heuristic, so I'm like the odd one. Like, I'm just like a weirdo, like, essentially is what it's saying. I've always felt like a weirdo, And it says, your unconscious is full of questions. It feels an intrinsic curiosity that motivates you to learn. Your unconscious needs stimulating situations and information to fuel your sense of wonder and the time to dive in and build confidence in your understanding. And I just want to read for you part of what it says on this 5-1 profile, which is found on humandesignplanet.info. The profile 5th line has a unique spin that no other profile has. It's not an easy path because it is highly subject to the projection field of the physical plane. And so they're going to be deeply impacted by the interaction that they have with others. It is like being a tall mirror where you're standing in front of someone and that person is inventing the character of the 5's personality in their mind, just as they're looking at the mirror. And if the character in the 5th line being that has been created by the other's mind is bringing something practical or useful, then they're seen as someone who is brilliant and wise. But if they are not, they're basically seen as either a saint or a devil, depending on who's looking. But it's not the real me, it's people's projections of me. And I have felt victim of this like my whole life. Like where people either really love me or really hate me, but their reasoning is never really based on me, and it's more based on them anyway. And I feel like people have this expectation of me as if I'm one way, and then whenever I'm not that way, they get really upset. There's this other part. They said Jesus Christ was probably a 5th line being because he challenged traditional religious practices like a heretic, and he was crucified. Ultimately, he became a savior. But what was his practical solution? It was to be still and know God and love yourself so that you can love others. And not many people can grasp what that means. So people's projections onto what Jesus means will affect how they're viewed. And I'm not like trying to be like, I'm just like Jesus, because no, I don't. Well, not only is that not true, but I also don't want to be that. So, oh, who am I kidding? You guys are gonna project onto me anyway, right? I don't know. This type does not settle well under authority. They rebel against tradition, and I don't know. That whole part about the being projected upon was just really, really ridiculous to me. And this okay, I'm gonna read part of this manifesto. It says, there is an unease that gets established the moment that we appear, and it is an unease that is always something that appears to emanate from us, and it changes the way in which we are recognized on this plane. And there's this enormous dilemma that is there in a manifestor's life. We are a minority, about 8% of the human population. So there are a lot of us in numbers and billions on the planet, but in fact, we're a minority and we operate differently than anyone else. We just have this channel of initiation. We want to initiate. We are not waiting for a sort of sign or a cue or a signal from the universe. We're not waiting for stimulation. Oh my God, my eye is twitching again. And I feel like that is like a weird, like, spiritual thing. Anyway. The life force of the planet, which we are not, are the generators of the planet. The way in which generators operate in the world is so incredibly different. And what generators are perfected in is their response. In other words, they don't have anything to be concerned about. Generators aren't responsible for navigating. From what I'm getting from this, and if anyone's into this and tells me and thinks I'm wrong, respond, please. But what I'm getting from this is that manifestors just feel the weight of the world on their shoulders because it's pretty much on them to be the initiators. Manifestors initiate, generators complete tasks. Here, why don't I actually, before I even get to that, I'm going to sort of give as much of a brief overview as I can. Manifestors are 8% of the population. Generators are 70%. And out of those generators, there are about 30% are manifesting generators, which are kind of generators with a little bit of manifesting spin on them. And then projectors are 22%. And reflectors are 1%. So I'm not the most rare. I'm just kind of rare. How about that? But anyway, manifestors are the only type that is here on this planet and has come to the universe to initiate, to take action. They were the rulers and the lawgivers of the world. They're designed to be an unstoppable force that will not allow anyone to control you. And if there's something you want, you go out and get it. You have the potential to shape the world in the way that you want it to be. And this is why people often don't know what to think about you. It creates an unconscious fear in them, and they try and control you from the moment that you're born, which leads you to a predominant negative feeling of anger, which is very true about me. I feel like nobody has understood like how I operate. They're always making assumptions about who I am. And I guess the way to operate correctly as a manifestor is to inform those who are impacted by your actions about what you're going to do. And in this way, others will not be so intimidated by you and may actually want to help you. I have always felt this way, that nobody initiates with me. Like, no, I have never been asked out by a guy, like, ever. Like, I have had to be like, I'm interested in you. And then they'll be like, oh, okay, now do you want to go on a date or something, like, after I asked the first time. Every single friend, like, I've never had one friend ask me to spend the night at her house or whatever growing up. Like, I always had to do that. And I always thought that that meant that nobody loved me and that nobody thought I was worthy enough to be someone to take action on. And, yeah, and so apparently if I don't communicate myself well, and if I don't inform what I'm doing, I'm going to get resistance from everyone because they aren't going to understand my motive or why I'm initiating. So anyway, generators are the great workers of the world, but they might feel like they are slaves who are just doing work they can't stand day after day. They seem like worker bees to me. They seem like generators seem like they have a really good work ethic, which is most of the world are generators. And I'm not saying like that's not a bad thing to not be rare. In fact, I kind of wish I was a generator, because then I feel like maybe I wouldn't feel so much pressure whenever I'm just doing, I feel like I can't just do my job and then go home and be happy. I feel like I have to be thinking about how to change the world whenever I'm off the clock. And I feel like I can't get the motivation to just do the things and just complete the tasks in the way that a generator seems to be. But a manifesting generator, which I have a feeling a lot of you watching this might be, because I looked up a lot of my friends, and it seems like a lot of my friends are manifesting generators. Manifesting generators do things very quickly and are even more tempted to initiate. They don't need to wait for something to respond to. Generators tend to be more reactive, I guess, toward the world. But manifesting generators, they're sometimes so efficient that they skip that. But in doing so, they might accidentally skip something that is essential, then need to go back. Anyway, their strategy is to wait to respond. And my strategy as a manifestor is to just inform what I'm about to do and explain what I'm about to do. And if you're a projector, you're not here to work. Projectors are not these sort of worker bees. Projectors are here to be recognized, and then I think they serve, right? Yeah, they wait for an invitation in relationships or work. And if your authority says yes, then you can share your gifts and guidance. So they just are very open people that sort of attract opportunities in their life. They take others in very deeply, and they clearly see others for who they are. They're clearly seen for who they are. But they might have to wait for sort of the go ahead. They are the eternal students of humanity and system masters. And their openness can be energetically exhausting. And so they need to make sure they have space. And then reflectors, who are 1% of the population, they have all open centers. They're completely open to the world and others. They now have no defined way of being. And so they just are sort of soaking up other people's emotions, essentially. But this thing of being a manifestor I want to just talk about is that I just feel so much pressure all the time to do everything. I feel like if I'm not telling people who to vote for, they might not know who to vote for. And no, that's stupid. But I literally feel like, oh, I need to say what I think about this current event. It just came out, like, I can't be bothered with work. I need to make sure that I'm sharing my opinion so that people can hear it. And I know that might sound extremely cocky to you guys if you aren't a manifestor, but I just feel like I have so much energy bubbling up. And just for the record, for those of you, I don't know if you're skeptical of astrology or for something like human design, but for me, I don't need this sort of thing to be proven for me to entertain the idea. For something like this that is so accurate to how I've always felt, for me to just randomly put in my birthday and for it to fit that and the 5-1, which also seems like me perfectly, is really crazy. Because essentially, let me go down. So the first line is an investigator, the second line is a hermit, the third is a martyr, the fourth is an opportunist, fifth is the heretic, and the sixth is the role model. And so I don't know exactly what it all means yet, but I'm a 5-1, and so my conscious is the heretic, which is seductive and attractive energy that attracts projections and expectations from others. And then the first line is investigator, which is, I guess, my subconscious. So my subconscious is always really curious and needs a solid foundation of knowledge before I feel secure, and that's exactly how I was about Myers-Briggs. I needed to learn about it for like 3 years before I even opened my mouth about it. Anyway, this manifesto. Okay, so the manifestor side of me makes me make people feel uncomfortable, and then the 5 part of me makes people put all of their projections onto me and not see me clearly. And so literally this aspect of me is so troubling and so stressful, and is something that I've felt and noticed for so long, and I've never been able to just point to an ENFJ thing for that being part of it. It's not an Enneagram 2 thing. It's not a Leo Sun, Aries Moon thing. Kombucha is really good. Anyway, manifestors get punished if they wait for stimuli to happen. The universe wants them to do it first, and that's like totally how I felt. But the issue is that people have expectations on manifestors, and it's like all eyes on them. I remember being in school as a kid, and everyone would be talking, and then I would be trying to do my work, and then a friend would like, hey, what page are we on? And I would go over and whisper, and it would be like, Megan, what are you doing? Pay attention. And I was like, whoa. Like, everyone else is able to talk, but not me. I just always felt like I had all eyes on me, and that everything I did, I was just gonna get attacked for. And it's kind of the way I am. You can kind of see that with my extroverted feeling. I can get kind of defensive when I feel like people are projecting onto me. God, I mean, I just feel like people are either gonna think I'm really awesome or really terrible, and I have to deliver perfectly. And it talks about this. It talks about this in Manifestors, about how once you inform and say you're gonna do something, you need to meet the outer world's expectations, or else they're going to ridicule you for it. It basically says, imagine if it's a high school dance, there's girls on one side on the floor and boys on the other side. What courage it must take to walk across that floor and ask somebody to dance. This is what it's like to be a manifestor. To be a manifestor is that every action you take carries an enormous consequence and pressure. Pressure is so incredible what is there, because everything opens you up to rejection. Everything you do opens you up to rejection. But a generator never has to be on the spot. They don't have to deal with that. They don't have to put themselves in a position in which they're going to be rejected. They are here to reject. And anyway, our aura creates unease and we push others because, I don't know. But anyway, guys, I'm going to look more into this tonight because this is really, really freaking interesting to me. And if you could see this, like I showed before, there's all these different aspects that I have no idea what that means. I know that where it is on your body has to do with certain ways of being, and I'm gonna look into that. Apparently, I'm a very heady, like, sort of person, versus some people are really grounded and rooted in, like, their root chakra. Some people are kind of heart. So I think it kind of relates to chakras. I don't really know. But anyway, I'm looking into this, but I'm really curious about any of my followers, if they would like to share what type they are, or if what they think of the system, if you have any resources. I'm just so mind blown, and I think it's crazy that my numerology life path number is a 5, and I'm also a 5 in this system. And Leo is the 5th house, and I'm a Leo sun, and all this stuff about the number 5, I don't know. But anyway, guys, I just feel like me being me is just always gonna push everyone away and is always gonna weird people out. And I always feel like no matter how complex I feel like I am, people are gonna either simplify me or they're going to, like, I don't know, but I guess it's like a thing for manifestors to feel like no one really sees the real them because they're too intimidated by the image that they are projecting, and I don't know. I don't know. If anyone has any thoughts on this, let me know. I'm sorry if this was not the sort of video that you're interested in. I'm sorry about that, because that's what I've got for you. All right. Have a wonderful evening.